everybody, and Merry Christmas to you. So I'm just here to do a quick, I can't even talk right now, a quick react to the Twitter peeps. As you guys know, I've been going live lately. I've had to go live lately because Chantal is not giving the reactors any rest. You try to take a doggone nap, and she's up and she's going off. And knowing Chantal, if you don't capture it when it's happening, you're not going to capture it at all, as evidenced by the fact that when I go live, you guys have seen twice already, right in the middle of my live react, she dirty deletes. So you got to hop on it. And what that means is I can't do the Twitter peeps like I want to do. So while she's quiet, I wanted to sit down and do the react to the Twitter peeps and catch all the way up, because I got a feeling it's going to get worse before it gets better. So she's quiet right now. It's time to catch up. And if you are celebrating the holidays with family and friends, don't worry about this video. It'll be there. Just spend the time with your loved ones and just get to it later if you want to. I'm just trying to keep up with all the madness. So we're just doing the Twitter peeps because she's not online, thank goodness. She got the good sense to stay offline while people are trying to celebrate. So you guys, you know what time it is. It is time for the Twitter peeps. All right, it's time for the Twitter peeps. Let's just get into it. I've been collecting stuff today. Okay, so for those of you that are on Twitter, that you would like to follow me on Twitter, there's my handle, Wild Girl Sarah. And for those of you not on Twitter, that's why I do the peeps. So you guys can see all of the news and gossip and opinions of girl world without having to set foot on the Bird app. So let's start here with the first post from Nat, saying the last thing he and his family want is your butt back there with your psychotic issues and negativity. So as those of you that were on my live, you guys saw she was having an entire meltdown, and she was sobbing about Salah and saying, I wouldn't want me either with all my issues. And yet, if she knows this about herself, if she is self-aware that she's got issues, wouldn't the smart thing to do is to fix them? If you are a person and you are aware that there are things wrong with you that are a problem for other people, the smartest thing you can do is work on them and get them resolved. But that part of the awareness just hasn't shown up yet. She's halfway in the door, but she's not all the way there. And you're right, Nat. His family wants nothing to do with Chantal, and he wants nothing to do with Chantal. And I'm of the opinion that the Salah that we've seen in chat, it really isn't Salah at all. Maybe it's one of her mods or somebody she knows, and she's just having somebody pretend to be Salah to make it seem like he still cares when he really doesn't. He might have been gone for a while. Why would he continue to hang around Chantal when her income is basically next to nothing? It just doesn't make any sense for him to stick around. If he's a romance scammer, there was no romance and now there's no money, why would he want to be there in the first place? Meandering Thoughts says Foodie Beauty was never abused by Natter. No matter what he did to other women, never to her. She watched the CPAP rescue on Twitch and had no problem with it, was laughing, even calling it a real-life drama show. Had he hurt her, it would have triggered the heck out of her. Correct and agreed, and that's what I said. This man that she said allegedly abused her, she's sitting there watching him on her TV, laughing and smiling and giggling. No real victim would never. A real victim would never want to see that person's face, nor utter their name, or even try to think about them. But there she was willingly watching him on her TV. It just doesn't make any sense unless the person in question wasn't a real victim and it was all fake and made up. Yeah. So go ahead and keep doing that, Chantal. Keep showing yourself watching videos like that, because every time you do, you're telling on yourself. You're telling the whole world, I'm a fake, phony victim that used abuse for views and money, which is exactly what you did during Crackhead Olympics, and those of us that are real victims know that. Aaliyah Sultana says, people are tired of your crap. Even your Weezers are tired of your lies, manipulation, gaslighting, scams, and grifts. Yeah, so what's the newest grift? For those who haven't heard, the newest grift is Chantal is claiming that it costs $2,000 to get a cat spayed. Now, I know, you don't have to yell at me. I already know it. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're saying right now through the screen. Rose Thorn, there is no possible way that it costs $2,000 to get a cat spayed. And you're right. And Chantal was getting mad during her Twitch stream because people were saying, no, this doesn't even sound right. There are much lower cost clinics and hospitals out there. You just have to look around for them. Chantal was insisting that it would cost $2,000 to get the cat spayed. And yet people in her own chat on Twitch, they were immediately coming up with places that they just did some quick searches and like, hey, I found this place for a lot cheaper. I found that place for a lot cheaper. Chantal was getting angry because people were counterpointing the things that she said. She was just mad because she was trying to grift and people were saying, no, that doesn't sound right, and proving her wrong. But isn't it interesting that she was asking $2,000 to get the cat spayed, and $2,000 is almost exactly the cost of her rent? Yeah, obvious is obvious. The grift is obvious. And the reason for the grift is also obvious. Chantal, people aren't as stupid as you. You know, there's a lot of people that are smarter than you. And when something don't smell right in the water, it absolutely stinks. You don't need $2,000 to get a cat spayed. And I also heard around the way that, didn't you have an appointment already? Didn't your Aunt Phyllis set you up with a low-cost clinic? So if you already have an appointment, why don't you have an appointment? And if you already know about a low-cost clinic that your aunt hooked you up with, then why are you asking for so much money to get the cat fixed? I mean, you got to keep your story straight. If you're going to be a scammer, be a better scammer. Remember the lies that you tell and stick with them, because you just keep flip-flopping and it just looks ridiculous. Aaliyah Sultana also says, stop your crying and self-pity, Foodie. You still have a lot more than most people. Be grateful for once. People are starving, homeless, sick, and dying, and you're crying over comfort. And I agree with you, Sultana. She should be grateful. Right now, it's Christmas. There's a lot of people actually honestly going without, and they're worried about the basics. Maybe they run into a bit of bad luck and they just couldn't recover fast enough. Maybe they did all they could and it just wasn't enough to cover everything. And there's Foodie complaining about her life. At the same time, while she's in a nice apartment, obviously she's got plenty of food because she keeps ordering takeout, and she has the nerve to complain about, I don't have enough. Speaking of not having enough, and this is just me voicing my opinion to go along with this tweet, for the Beezers who might come here and watch this, I mean, let's just do some real turkey talk here. Foodie is in a position where she's gotten very, very comfortable with begging money from people. And she expects the general public to pay for her entire life, her bills, her rent, her food. But is this system sustainable? I say no. You can't depend on other people to pay your way, especially if your way is a very expensive way. Foodie is a very expensive person to know. She expects people to pay $2,000 plus for her rent. She loves her fast food. That's another great expense. Her bills, her phone bill, her everything. That runs into the thousands. Is it sustainable to expect the general public to give you thousands upon thousands of dollars every month? No, because there's only so much money the public can give at any given time. So wouldn't the obvious thing be that instead of facilitating this feeling of keep coming to us and keep expecting money, that those of you that are beezers, what you should be doing is, cutting off the faucet, because she has to learn at some point she's got to take care of herself. At some point, she's got to be independent and stop going to other people for what she needs. She's a grown adult. She's a grown woman. She needs to figure it out herself. And the faster you guys put that attitude upon her, the better. Because all you're doing is making yourselves broke trying to take care of this woman. Like I said, she's real expensive. And it's only getting worse. 500 pounds and no money says $2,000 to spay a cat? Be serious. That's not a vet bill. That's a grift estimate. Same playbook as Syria. Same as Salsa. Flash the cat, farm the sympathy, inflate the price, pass the hat to the beezers. We've seen this episode already. Yep. And as I pointed out in my live react, notice that her grifts are always really, 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 really expensive. She goes for the most amount of money. Has anybody noticed the pattern that everything she needs is well over $1,000? The scooter was what, $1,500? Her rent is $2,000. I mean, everything she's coming up with is really expensive. Listen, she was over in Syria for at least 3 months. Didn't pay rent there. But she was still getting paid from YouTube. Where'd that money go? On top of that, she got $10,000 plus from the beezers. So she should have been coming home with over 20 grand in her pocket. Where is that money? If she chose to give it to Natter or Salah or spend it on fast food or edibles, that's her choice. But once people give her the money and she makes bad choices, it's not for the public's responsibility to make up for her stupidity. Let her fall. Let her suffer a bit. Maybe it might be good for her. But all of her grifts now are really, really, really expensive. It's not like she's asking for $50 or $100. She's always coming forward and saying, I need $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Well, what's the old saying? You can't always get what you want, but if you try real hard, you get what you need. So maybe she should look at what she truly needs versus what she thinks she needs and put those over what she wants. We all got to do it. If you're going through hard times, if you're struggling, maybe you may want some things, but if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You got to make that sacrifice. Everybody has to do it in life sometimes. Maybe it's her turn. Mrs. Flupa Booty says Salah said he wants to go to Canada. Duh, that was always his plan. Is he stupid enough to think that she can get him over there at this point? Dude, for real though. Bankruptcy, no steady income, divorce, and poop gate all over social media. It ain't happening. Nope, it's not happening. Do I think that Salah still wants to come to Canada? No. Either A, in my opinion, he ain't talking to her at all, or B, if he's still in Syria talking to her, he is just collecting the free money from her. If she's sending it over, he's going to take it. He's going to take it as long as she offers it. I mean, it's an optimum situation for him. Getting money out of her, and he doesn't have to deal with her physically. It's like, thank you for the free direct deposit. I'll take that. Pretty soon, though, I think she's going to run very, very low on money, and she can't send anything at all. Dwight's hazmat suit says Foodie Beauty tried to justify ordering a $30 delivery dinner because she says a pack of 5 breasts is $30. On what planet, Chantal? Spend money how you want, but don't lie. Could make several meals with veggies or soups, casseroles, and more for $30. That's funny. The irony of this post right now, I just did a Postmates order. And I ordered some chicken breast. It didn't cost $30. A pack of chicken breast was like $8, not 30. But I guess this is what she said. She said it's like $30. That's a lot, but that's like because you have to pay. Really? There we go. There it is. A pack of chicken breast for $12. How about that? How about that? Now, I will say this though. I don't know if she would be getting it in person or through Postmates, but there is a delivery cost sometimes with Postmates. But still, she's within walking distance of a Walmart. If she wanted those chicken breasts, she could just walk her little happy self over to Walmart, because they do have a grocery section, and take them home. It would be all of $12. And I would think someone in Chantal's position, that they don't have that YouTube income anymore, she'd be making a lot of walks to Walmart. I mean, that's the quickest way to save money on delivery costs. And instead of having things delivered, just go get it your doggone self. But there you go. $12 for some chicken breast, and a package like that would easily last me probably close to a week, maybe a little over a week, eating stuff in between. But yeah, there it is. Carrie S2222 says, I have a great idea for you, Foodie. Take that Christmas flight back to the Middle East since you got paid and all. It will solve everything. No more feeling threatened. Live cheap. Get your poop lover back. You're welcome. But I don't think she has the money to fly over there. That's the thing. In the past, when Foodie wanted to go to the Middle East, she could easily wait till her paycheck came in and then buy her plane tickets and go. But she's not getting that kind of money anymore. So would it make sense to go over there? And would his family have her back? I don't think so. I think if Salah's been paying attention, that he knows that she's demonetized. So knowing that she's demonetized, knowing that that's going to greatly affect her money, why would he accept her back? He only accepted her there because she still had the ability to make money. But if her ability to make money is greatly diminished, what's the motivation for having her there? Again, she doesn't live within her means. She's a very expensive person to know. She's very expensive to feed. Letting her in the house would be a big mistake. She would cost more than she would make. So she may want to go over there. And by the way, she actually did say that in one of her Meltdown streams, that she really, really wants to go back to the Middle East. She really wants to go back there, but wanting to go back there and actually being able to, two different things. Okay. Debbie's World says, liars be lying. So Chantal lies about things that she really shouldn't lie about, because especially if there's something that can be easily researched. So she had this painting and she swore it was like $500. Here's the image. And Unicorn Pondu showed it in his video. This painting cost all of $35, not $500. Chantal, why do you bother to lie to people? You lie about things you don't have to lie about. Why not just say this is a cute $35 painting or picture versus saying, yeah, I got this and it cost $500. Girl, come on. Come on. Oh, yeah, I had to save this. Hot chocolate, homemade hot chocolate. Ooh, I'll share the recipe later. But look how that's real hot chocolate right there. Ooh. Who wants some hot chocolate? There we go. And y'all check this out from Nature is Amazing. Everybody, meet Adolf. This is Adolf, one giant, handsome tortoise. He loves his neck rubs, and for being 106 years old, he still looks very young and appreciates the little things. So tortoises, they love to be bathed. And here's something you guys didn't know. A tortoise's shell is very, very sensitive. It's like they have little nerve endings and stuff in there. And they love a nice, soft rub on the shell. I love a good, like a soft scratch. Look at this tortoise. He's like, I'm just going to sit still and enjoy my spa moment. What a good boy. He's like, maintenance. His carer has given such great care to him, but he's enjoying his bath. He's just holding perfectly still so he can get bathed. What a great little guy. Bad Seed says, Foodie Beauty Chantal is full of crap. Let's see these right here. Cost to spay a cat. The cost to spay a female cat in Ottawa typically ranges from $200 to $500 Canadian at most clinics, but prices vary depending on the facility and services included. Clinic cost. Prices at low-cost clinics, humane societies, and private veterinarians can differ significantly, with additional fees often applying for services like blood tests or extra medications. Speaking of the spay process, so there's different things you can do. Chantal, even if you don't have the money to get the kitten spayed right now, you can still get her vaccines. Get her vaccines ahead of time, at least that's out of the way. But you aren't being a good pet owner and getting the vaccines right now. And then when you get the money for the spay, then you can just get it later. You're wanting someone else to pay for all that. But here we go. Okay, location type, estimated spay cost, Canadian. OHS mobile clinic subsidized, $100 for qualifying low-income residents. The City of Ottawa spay neuter clinic, $245. Ontario SPCA, $205 to $282. Ottawa Valley Spay Neuter Clinic, $333. Private veterinary hospitals, $800 to $1,000, including extras. So I kind of said that in my live react too. If she's looking at veterinary hospitals, yeah, the cost is going to be jacked up. But if you go to, say, a clinic, it's going to be a lot lower. So there you go, Chantal. But none of those places say $2,000. Even if you went to a private veterinary hospital, $800 to $1,000. So where are you coming up with a $2,000 price tag? All right. Annie Pooh says, theory, last night's crash out was because she sent him money he accepted, then ghosted her. I don't know, but I think that he might be cutting her off a little bit more, like talking to her less and less. And she's getting more panicked about that. She does have abandonment issues. So the less money she has, the more he's like, well, it's really not worth it to talk to you. Acadia Strong says this is the reason she thinks these Middle Eastern men chase after her. So let's watch the clip.
List that I can get and pay for any man I want. List that I can get and pay for any man I want. List that I can get and.
Yep. This was a live stream that she did back in the day. This was the Canadian Villa days, and she actually made that statement. I can get and pay for any man I want. That's when she was feeling herself. She was being real cocky. This was when she was making the good money on YouTube. I can get and pay for any man I want. I mean, she was flaunting the fact that she was a sugar mama. Well, guess not anymore, because the sugar mama ran out of sugar. So I guess your attraction power just ran out. Lori says, Foodie Beauty Twitch ignored these comments. Here's some of the comments in the chat. Unpaid influencer says, I thought videos of Natter triggered you. Why are we giggling at your abuser? Because the abuse wasn't real. That's why. Is it not obvious to everybody else that this person who claims to be an abuse victim is giggling at her abuser? Does that strike anybody else as odd? Isn't that weird? Yeah, it's really weird. Until you consider the fact that she lied about the abuse. Hectic Llama says Chantal says she's been in contact with the police and needs FFG's address and will have to pay $300 to have her served with papers. That means she's been told that this is not a criminal matter. It's a civil one. If it were criminal, the police would handle everything. Correct. If it were a criminal matter and she could prove that she was being stalked or she was in danger, then there would be an arrest, wouldn't there? They would have probable cause. But since she can't prove it, then it's, I guess, a case for a civil court. So I guess you weren't really being stalked, were you, Chantal? Really can't prove that. Now, how about an unusual creature? One you guys have never seen from Manico. This is a hawk-headed parrot or a red fan parrot. Now, there's all kinds of parrots in the world. I have never seen a parrot like this. You know, he's got a little crest. Let me just turn out the volume. But there's an unusual parrot for you, girl world. Oh, look, he's got a little fan. All right, so Raptor Watcher says, this is how a professional social media influencer does live streams. Sealing on the couch, watching a TV with her viewers from across the room. Nice setup, Chantal. Yeah, this is how she did reactions last night. Let me turn on the TV. Let's not use StreamYard or Streamlabs or something, which would be much more professional. No, miss 100K channel. Didn't bother to do it the right way. And half the things that were said on the TV, you couldn't even hear because the audio was so bad. Crochet with Ashme says the fighting, the yelling, the insulting was too much for him. But you have to be ready to change that. No. No one is required to stay with you and enable you through your abuse. Though his faults, to be honest, he was far more gracious than expected. Oh, and she also made another interesting comment during the stream saying, we were so much in love. No, you weren't. He was never in love with you. He was in love with your money. And once that money went away, then the money was lost, the love was lost. But let's watch the clip.
I know he loved me, like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I'm just too, I think the fighting was too much for him, like the insulting him and being like yelling and never following through what I would say over and over. Like he really did try to get, yeah, you're right. But, you know, like I have to be ready for that. Like, I don't know. Like he's not perfect either.
Let's listen to that again because I want to play it all the way through so you guys could hear it its entirety. And then play it one more time so I can give my comments. Let's watch again.
I know he loved me. Like,
stop. I know he loved me. Exactly how do you know that he loved you? If he loved you, Chantal, he wouldn't have had you paying for everything from the jump. You lost that argument the moment that you sent him $9,000. How is it that in one breath, you're telling us now that he's a successful person, that he's got a job and he's got money, and yet you're still giving him money? Obviously, you're still giving him money. It's this whole thing was money based. It was then, it's still now. But if he loved you so much and he wanted you to be his wife, why would a man have his wife pay for everything? Salah's always been a run around, play around. He even played in your face. And you let him play in your face because you were desperate for company. Always has been. He loved me so much. Obviously not. Here you are in Canada. You've lost your main source of income. I don't know how long you can stay in that apartment if you don't have your main source of income and you can't get the money. But if he loves you so much, Why isn't he on the phone with you right now saying, come on back, come back to the Middle East, live with me? Even if you don't make that much, you can still live with me and we can be comfortable. Why isn't he saying that to you? You know, since he loves you. Why isn't he inviting you back? I guess the love isn't there.
Like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I'm just too, I think the fighting was too much for him. Like the insulting him and being like yelling and.
So you're pretty much admitting that you're an abusive person. I can't even imagine what he put up with off camera. I'm sure you were absolutely awful, just a tyrant. I mean, look, he's an awful person too. And it's his fault. He invited you into his life. And his intentions were not pure. But neither were yours. You both had bad intention. He invited you in so he could milk you for money. And you entered so you could pay him. And you thought that by giving him money, he was supposed to put up with whatever abuse that you pushed out at him. You are both complicit in this. It takes two to tango. I'm sure you were sitting up in that house in the Middle East, in Syria, thinking that you were some kind of queen on some kind of throne, barking orders at people. You were not helpful, not helping with the housework, not helping with anything, not helping with the laundry. You just wanted to throw some money at people and then be left alone and be waited on hand and foot. And by the way, Chantal, if you have a partner and there's much more fighting than loving, if there's yelling, if there's screaming, if there's insulting, if there's any love between you, how can you expect the love to survive? Because stuff like that, it tends to damage a relationship. He even got on stream once and said, all you do is nag. I guarantee you, he hated every second that he had to spend in your company. He wasn't into you. He wasn't attracted to you. He loathed you. And I'm sure he had to grit his teeth to deal with you. And now you're back in Canada. I'm sure he's got his life back. And he's not going to invite you back to ruin it.
Never following through what I would say over and over. Like he really did try to get, yeah, you're right. But, you know,
okay, let's go back to that one part again, please.
Insulting him and being, I think the fighting was too much for him. Like the insulting him and being like yelling and never following through what I would say over and over. Like he.
So in this short clip, you're admitting that you guys were fighting. You were fighting with him. You were yelling. You insulted him. You never followed through with the things that you promised. So why should anybody have you as a wife if that's how you are with them? If you're a nag, if you're fighting with them, if you're insulting them, you won't take care of yourself. You don't follow through with the promises that you make. Why would anybody want you as a partner? How is that workable? When you have a relationship, it's teamwork. You got to have teamwork to make the dream work. You got to work with your partner, not against them. Working against somebody is counterproductive. When you're too combative, when you're too rebellious, then the two people who want to be together, they can't function as one unit. So again, why should he bring you back to the Middle East if this is how you are? You are an overgrown, burdensome, cumbersome brat.
He really did try to get, yeah, you're right. But, Like I have to be ready for that. Like I don't.
Like, I have to be, yeah, he did try to help me, but I have to be ready for that. But here's the problem, Chantal. You are never ready. You don't want to be ready. You don't motivate yourself to be ready. You make excuses. You're a procrastinator. Oh, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. What if there is no tomorrow? You exhaust a person's patience with empty promises and waiting. And at the same time, you're burdensome, cumbersome, combative, and you expect someone to put up with that. Even the most patient person can only put up with that for so long before they say enough. And it sounds like that's exactly what's happened here. Persevi says, what a failure of a human. Mo Translate says, after raging, crying, and reacting to her old videos on Twitch, she's now live on her Foodie Beauty channel on YouTube crying about hijabs, Salah, and Christmas. Let's watch.
The hijab on. Like it's almost like I feel like I doubt myself. Like if I tell myself this feels right, I want to do it for God.
Stop right there. Here's what I think, Chantal. I think when you were on Patreon, when your Patreon was active, and by the way, y'all, for those that haven't heard, her Patreon is gone. They took it away. But the last Patreon upload that she did, she put the hijab back on. It's getting ridiculous. 1 minute it's on, 1 minute it's off. 1 minute it's on, 1 minute it's off. I think that you keep putting on the hijab as a way to appeal somehow to Salah. But here's the thing, he don't care. He's gone. He's living his life. He doesn't want you back. So you really shouldn't be wearing the hijab. Okay? Maybe instead of trying to be something for somebody else, how about do what's right for you, what's authentic to you, versus trying to make an image for someone else and live up to their expectations. Just be yourself.
And then I listen to other people and I like believe people. Like, do I believe this? Do I really want to wear this? And then whenever I don't wear it, I feel like I'm listening to people telling me not to wear it. Like what? Like I can't make my own decisions or what?
It sounds like you got some self-discovery to do. I don't think you should be wearing the hijab and the abaya. I think you should not wear those things because it's not who you really are. Not in your heart of hearts. When you put on the abaya and you put on the hijab, you're doing it for a man. Let's just throw that on the table. You're doing it for a man, to appeal to a man, to appease a man, hoping it might win you some brownie points. It honestly feels like you're being manipulative when you wear the hijab and the abaya, because you're trying to weasel your way back over to the Middle East before you run out of money, if we're going to be honest. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel authentic to you.
And I just don't know who I am anymore. And I'm just like...
And you know what? If you're going through this identity thing, you don't know who you are. Maybe that's the spirit world saying maybe you should find out. Who are you? What do you want to do? What makes you happy? You've been running around for years making versions of yourself to appeal to men just so you can have companionship. But maybe it's time to figure out who you are and what you want and what makes you happy, and focus on you versus other people and chasing men around that want nothing to do with you except for your paycheck. Stop throwing money at people that really don't care about you.
I'm feeling sorry for myself. Like, why wasn't I good enough for Salah?
Forgive me, Chantal. I'm a bit confused and perplexed. I'd like to ask you a question, if I may. You don't take care of yourself. You are very, very unhealthy. You know this. You know a lot of things about yourself. You know that you're unhealthy. You know you've got health problems up the wazoo. That you're really, really bad with money. You know that you're selfish. You know that you are cold-hearted. You know that you're tyrannical. You know that you just don't care about people. You know that you are manipulative. You know that you're a liar. You know that you have mental issues, emotional issues. You know that you have addictions. You know that you've got bad hygiene. That you're slovenly, that you're sloppy. You know these things about yourself. So why don't fix them? Because all the things I just mentioned are bad qualities. Any one of them alone is a bad quality. But altogether, it's a lot to deal with. Look at the version of you now. Do you expect that that version of yourself, it would be appealing to any man? I mean, let me just put the question in reverse. You as a woman, if a man walked up to you that had all those qualities, would you want to make that person into your partner? If you walked up to a man that did not bathe, did not brush their teeth, smelled horrible, wasn't taking care of their health problems unchecked, they didn't care about their health, they didn't care about their finances, just always in turmoil all the time, would you as a woman looking for a partner, would you look at that person as a good prospect for making into a life partner? Or would you say, no, there's too much going on here. This is high risk. This does not look like a happy place. This does not look like a good idea. I'm walking away. Honestly, if you met the male version of yourself, would you accept that man? Would you lock in and say, I want to be with this person, or would you walk away? If your answer is, yeah, I would walk away from this person, well, then you've got to understand why men walk away from you. You are not showing anything about yourself that says, I care about myself. I care about my health. I care about my mental health. I care about my finances. I care about my hygiene. I just care in general. So if you don't care about yourself, how can you expect that anybody else to care about you? I mean, we've all got issues, but generally we care about ourselves, at least to a certain level, about how we look, how we talk to people, hygiene, all that. You don't care about anything. You have to radiate outward what you want to receive. If you want people to care about you, you got to put out that energy that you truly do genuinely care about yourself first. And then people will pick up on that and be attracted to you. So, get out of that funk. Miss Morris reads, and Hectic Llama say, for someone to be charged with criminal harassment, the victim has to be reasonably fear for their safety or the safety of someone they know, not just be upset by criticism or being made fun of, fear for their safety. So I guess here is the government of Canada. Here we go. 264.1. No person shall, without lawful authority and knowing that another person is harassed or recklessly as to whether the other person is harassed, engage in conduct referred to in subsection 2 that causes that other person reasonably in all the circumstances to fear for their safety or the safety of anyone known to them. And she's in no real danger, and she knows that. She's just kicking up some dirt and raising a fuss. Here's something interesting. Pay attention, foodie. Flashing Pondu says, I drew this up after hearing Chantal listing what she wants in a man. Chantal is such a catch, you guys. Okay, so let's go in reverse here. Qualities Chantal expects in a relationship, in a man. They have to be young, slim figure, attractive face, Middle Eastern ethnicity, employed. Well, that's debatable. They don't have to be employed. She'll employ them if she's got the money. Mentally stable, physically fit, not close with their family, doesn't want to go out with friends, doesn't like going out and basically just be a homebody, wants to be on camera, willing to claim Chantal online. Now, let's talk about the qualities that she brings to the relationship. She brings super morbid obesity, BED, unable to walk for more than a minute, uncontrolled type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, bald, unemployed to nearly broke, has exactly one friend, not close to her family, severe mental health issues, oppositional defiant disorder, a public locale, compulsive liar, poor hygiene, and oral hygiene. Yeah. And so she's looking for Mr. Instagram model out there to accept her with all those bad qualities. And there's more. I'm sure that we can go further on the things that she brings into the relationship that are not good. That's just a partial list. Ghost Crap says, why wasn't I good enough for Salah? My guess is that even a Syrian romance scammer will not put up with having his bed poop done once a week. What do you guys think was the reason? Oh, I think there were a bunch of reasons. I think maybe Salah's thinking was it was supposed to be easy peasy. You know, have her around and they could go places, they could travel. He would get to see all kinds of places in the world for free. He did not know that it would be this much of a hassle. It was supposed to be a much easier thing, and she made it a very difficult thing. She ran him through the ringer, but let's watch.
I'm feeling sorry for myself. Like, why wasn't I good enough for Salah?
Chantal, I'm going to say it again. There was never, ever, ever a chance of him falling deeply in love with you. Okay? You're thinking in relationship terms. Why wasn't I good enough for him? This whole thing from the jump was a money deal. It was a contract. It was an agreement. It was business. And business doesn't have to be personal. You wanted it to be personal. See, that's always your mistake. You made the same mistake with Natter. By coming to somebody with a business deal, you expected that at some point that the business would turn personal. It never did. Maybe you thought that if you gave enough money to a guy that he would just fall madly in love with you. Listen, real love happens without money. If you're with the right person, money won't even be a factor. If money is a factor, then it's not real love. Once you pay somebody for something, if you're a scammer, you're a mark. Okay? You're a mark. And once you become a mark, it'll never get personal. So you started giving him money, you were a mark. Look at all those women he was talking to on the phone. Do you think they were paying Salah to talk to him? No. It's because he honestly liked them. He didn't like you. And I know this may be a very hateful thing to say, but maybe the reason why he was getting as much money as he was from you is because he didn't like you. You know, the more he hated you, the more he couldn't stand you, the more money he was charging you because you were irritating him and getting on his last nerve. And so to put up with you, he had to charge you more and more money just to justify the irritation. So you always screw up when it comes to these deals. You just can't keep your eye on the ball. You can't keep it straight. You forget that it's a money thing. It's always been a money thing. And the line starts to get blurred and you get your feelings involved. And then you're the one that gets it screwed up. The guys that you go to, they never get it screwed up. They never get tempted to blur the lines. Mentally and emotionally, you start to fool yourself into thinking that it's real when it never is. Okay, let's keep going. All right, moving on. That's information about the space. Girl World Watcher says her delusional mind is scary. Even though there is evidence for days showing her scam romance, she is crying over a money-bought relationship transaction and still claiming it's real. Yeah, like she's... Maybe her delusional mental safe space that's a safe room that she's running to because her world is falling apart. Queen Jellybean says, quote, "Why wasn't I good enough for Salah? Foodie Beauty, goodness girl, I have no idea. Who wouldn't jump at the chance to be with a 41-year-old woman who can't stop embarrassing themselves and their entire family on the internet that wants only one thing in life? She just wants to bees." And here's an interesting clip courtesy of Alex is Shook saying pathetic doesn't even begin to describe. She even said if she didn't have a lease, she would go back without even asking him. Reality is banging on the door and she refuses to answer. Let's watch the clip.
Want like a little piece of our marriage. But I feel like maybe I should let it go. Maybe I should let it go.
Yeah, I was watching this live stream and she did say like if she could, she'd go back. And every time I've done a reading on Foodie with my tarot lately, I kept seeing it strongly. Like she really wants to go back. She's just itching to go back to the Middle East, but she can't. And we've all been thinking, would she go to that extreme? Would she leave the apartment and just go to that hotel in Damascus and wait there thinking he'd come pick her up? Because Foodie, I wouldn't encourage that. You'll just get stuck there. He is not going to come get you. Uh-oh. Nero Spicy Life says, here we go. Chantal is going to use the new cat as the next scam for vaccinations and spaying that she'll never do. Also, it took 5 minutes to see it's not $2,000 to spay a cat there. How about this? Look at that. Fees for Ontario SPCA spay neuter services surgery, feline spay, subsidized rate $143.50, full rate $205. There you go. Less than $200. So $2,000 where, Foodie? Flashing Pondu says, this is some next level delusion. Crochet with Ashmay says, do you hear yourself, Chantal? Let's watch.
All of the things bad about me, I would not want in a partner. I would not want somebody.
Told you. Didn't I say that earlier? I said that earlier. Wow. All the things about me I would not want in a partner, but yet you expect other people to enter your life and put up with you and all of your bad qualities. So you expect another person to have patience and love for you and all your bad qualities, but you yourself are here admitting you would not put up with you.
All of the things bad about me, I would not want in a partner. I would not want somebody with addiction, somebody super morbidly obese who can't hardly move. I wouldn't want it. That sounds awful, but it's because that would be awful to be with someone. I'm like that. So we would be 6 feet under not very long.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about Chantal. So she's admitting all these things about herself. This is good. This is very good. This is showing at least some level of self-awareness that she is aware of these problems. She has been aware. So she can't say, well, I wasn't aware. She is aware. Now she's trying to say, oh, like two people that need a bunch of care in the same household would not benefit each other. You're right, they wouldn't. But do you see the strain you put on other people, Foodie, needing constant care and supervision when you're an adult and you need more supervision than somebody will give a child? At least children grow up. But you're a 41, almost 42-year-old woman. You insist on not growing up. You don't want to be independent. You want to forever be a burden to another person, to the point where whoever your partner is, they're not allowed to have a life. They're not allowed to spend time around family or friends or have hobbies or interest or go somewhere. You expect that person's happiness, their entire happiness, should be taking care of you, and taking care of you is not a happy job. Okay, you are not exactly a bubbly person. You are just misery all the way around.
2, it would just remind me of, like, they're a broken person. That how can they be in a relationship?
Boom, more self-awareness. If you're a broken person, why are we? Say that again. You said it better than I could. Say that again, please. Thank you.
How can they be in a relationship?
If they're a broken person, how can they be in a relationship? You're almost there, Foodie. You're almost there. If you're a broken person, how can you be in a relationship? You're a broken person. Why do you keep seeking out relationships? Because if you're a broken person, if you're too broken, there's no possible way you can be in a relationship and make it work. So the solution is fix your broken. Don't expect somebody else to fix it.
You know, that's how I am exactly. So chill and give massages.
So you're almost there, Foodie. You're almost there. Keep going. Two-tailed Keeper says, imagine being so desperate that you question if you should, quote, let the relationship go after he and his family force you to sign divorce papers and kick you out of their house. She's certifiable. Yeah, what was that paperwork exactly that you signed, Foodie, before you left? Was it divorce papers? Was it paperwork saying that they have no financial obligations to you, that you can't come back and ask for money? I wonder what that paperwork actually was, because it sounds pretty official. I mean, you told the story to us. You said that not only did you sign the paperwork, but interestingly enough, all the family members were there. It kind of sounded like somebody had to be there to be a notary. It sounded pretty doggone official. So what was that paperwork you signed? I wonder. Crochet with Ashmay says, in Canada, with every opportunity to fix her situation, and she'd rather be chasing a CPAP machine around or sitting in Syria yelling at Salah to stop talking to her. Yep, here's some screenshots from the live. This is Foodie. And remember, Beezers, this is what you paid for. You gave her $10,000 to start her life over. You gave her a gift of opportunity that not a lot of people in the world get when they want to start over. You gave her a tremendous gift. And this is the end result of her being wasteful. She wasted all that money you guys gave her. She wasted the opportunity that you gave her. So honest question here. Do you think if you give her more money, that she's going to change? That she's going to count her blessings and be different? Because I don't think so. If she's not willing to try to be better, then she's not going to be better. And no amount of money is going to fix her issues. But this is what you paid for her to continue to be a spoiled, entitled, e-begging brat. Okay, more stuff about the cat. Danny Y says, the current live stream on Chantal's demonetized channel reminds me an awful lot of when she was begging for money to go traveling and film fall-related content back in Syria, but didn't make her goal. She's crying because she didn't get her way. Womp, womp. Well, I think a lot of people are starting to wake up even faster to what she's doing. Her coming online, begging $2,000 for a cat spay, and immediately she got called all the way out by people on Twitch saying it doesn't cost that much to get a cat spay. And they gave examples of places in Canada she could get it done for a lot cheaper. They are waking up to the fact that she's just grifting for money at this point. That it's not about getting a cat spayed. It's about, I need money for rent, but I can't come right out and say that I need money for rent, because she also claims she just got her YouTube check. Okay, then you got your YouTube check, pay your rent, and also go get your cat fixed since you got your check, remember? Okay, so that's it for the, is that it for the Twitter peeps? Let me just make sure. What we got here? I'm just making sure before I leave. Okay, more information about this stupid painting. DX says she lies about the dumbest crap. She's claiming it's an original $500 painting. Meanwhile, in reality, this is an ugly, commonly printed stock photo you can find on Amazon, at Hobby Lobby, and at Michael's for under $35. So here's the painting. Look at that. So no original painting. No original painting, Foodie. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it for now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this Twitter Peeps React. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and please have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday, and I hope you all enjoy yourselves. Good night. Bye-bye.